Our gospel reading this morning is from John 20, 19 through 31. The risen Christ appears to Thomas. On the evening of that day, the first day of the week, the doors being shut where the disciples were, for fear of the religious authorities, Jesus came and stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." Having said this, Jesus showed them his hands and side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the sovereign. Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As God the Father and Mother has sent me, even so send I you." Having said this, Jesus breathed on them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained." Now Thomas, one of the 12, called the twin, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the sovereign." But Thomas said to them, "Unless I see in Jesus' hands the print of the nails, and place my finger in the mark of the nails, and place my hand in Jesus' side, I will not believe." 8 days later, the disciples were again in the house, and Thomas was with them. The doors were shut, but Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then Jesus said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands, and put your hand and place it in my side. Do not be faithless, but believing." Thomas answered, "My sovereign and my God." Jesus said to Thomas, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe." Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book, but these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the child of God, and that believing you may have life in Jesus Christ's name. May God add understanding to this reading of the gospel.
Amen.
Please be seated. God, I ask that you anoint my lips and not my heart. Let the words I speak not be mine, but let them be yours. And let the words that the people hear today be words you would have for them on their faith journey. Amen. Today's gospel brings us once again to the story of Jesus making the first of 6 appearances to the disciples following the resurrection. All the disciples are present except for Thomas, the one who has been given the great title of Doubting Thomas. This is also a term that is used even in today's society when we meet someone that never seems to agree with what the norm is or what others tell them. It is often seen as a derogatory term of sorts. I do not see much wrong with Thomas questioning the fellow disciples as he did. Thomas had separated himself from them as they stayed locked in that upper room, not wanting to be seen nor be seen. They wanted to take the safe way out. Therefore, who knows what these people have been sitting around talking about and thinking about. So when they shared the story of their experience of seeing the man known as Jesus walking and talking among them in that room, he should have questioned them for himself. Thomas also was very clear that he would not believe these things for himself until he could see the wounds and speak to Jesus himself. There's also a very odd reference in the gospel to Thomas as the twin. There's really no reason for this to appear in the gospel. There's not even a real clear meaning of the importance of it for this reference. A couple of weeks ago, Roy and I watched a documentary on the face of Jesus and the science that went into explaining the appearance of Jesus to the disciples. The scholars in this documentary refer to the reference of twin as the possibility of the twin of Thomas actually being us. We're not much different than Thomas. When we hear something for the first time, we're not ready to accept most things on blind faith. We want to see the facts. We so many times become like the residents of the state of Missouri, the show me state. Show me the facts before I'll accept your story. And they are stubborn about it. Mean about it. All Thomas wanted to do was see the nail holes. Missouri wants everything. They want your firstborn child before they'll believe. I think today, as we commemorate the day, Earth Day, it is even more relevant that we are the twin of Thomas. Show me the facts of climate change or the need to care for our planet. Show me how life impacts this earth. Show me how the actions of my career can impact this earth. I want to share with you just part of a story that I found this week. In New Mexico, there lived a community of Native Americans called Navajos. The ancestors of the Navajos and other Native Americans were the first to live in America. These people loved the land and they took great care of it. They called the earth our mother. They believed that animals and people are the children of earth. They believed that earth took care of them and gave them everything that they needed. In return, they were to take care of their Mother Earth because they truly appreciated all the gifts of earth. They took only what they needed. Native Americans did not waste food, water, or trees. They did not believe that the earth belonged to people, but that people belonged to the earth. They felt a spiritual presence in all things. In this community lived two young children who so loved the land and the earth. They loved running through the fields, playing along the rivers and the streams. The biggest joy for them was, after a long time of play, to sit on the banks of the stream and drink from the beautiful blue running cold water. One day while doing this, they stopped for the usual refreshing drink of water and found that the taste was just awful. Looking over the body of water, they found it to be gray and dirty. It smelled. They soon found that the fish and the ducks who flourished so in these waters were soon dying. They were convinced that an evil spirit had taken their beautiful lakes and streams. They began soon to notice that even the trees and the plants were beginning to slow in growth and were taking on a different appearance than before. They went and discussed it with their parents and others in the village. Everyone had noticed the difference, but did not know what it was, and just accepted it and went on with life. This wasn't good enough for these two children, so they continued to investigate on their own to look for the cause. As summer was ending, the family took a trip into the larger town about 30 miles away to get school supplies and school clothes. On the way into town, the children noticed a new large factory with smoke coming from the stacks. And it was apparent to them that this smoke was the exact same color that the water had become. The young girl looked at the smoke, and she didn't just see smoke. She saw the torture and the death of her beautiful streams and lakes. She saw the nail prints. After much work with the government, they investigated and found that the factory was poisoning the bodies of water and the land around it by dumping toxic chemicals into the water so that they didn't have to pay for the removal. Finally, this got fixed, and the land and the bodies of water returned to their normal state of beauty and was once again supporting life. These children were doubting Thomas. These children were the true twin of Thomas. They had seen the death of the beauty of Mother Earth and searched for the truth for themselves. They made things right by wanting to see for themselves what had put to death the thing that they loved so much, just as the disciples did. They were not going to be satisfied until they were able to sit on the banks and once again feel refreshed and at peace with Mother Earth, just as the disciples. In my opinion, this is exactly what Thomas did. By saying, "Let me see the wounds on Jesus' body for myself. Let me see for myself that Jesus is alive and resurrected for me." This is how we should be approaching our relationship with the Spirit within. That Spirit that guides us, or the Spirit that keeps us grounded to the truths that each of us has for ourselves. That Spirit that will allow us to help others along the walk and journey of faith so that they may also believe. There's nothing wrong with doubting, but there's everything wrong with ignoring. Anyone in this world can doubt the power of the resurrection and the light of Jesus Christ, but no one can ignore it. For there's so many great things that have been done in the name of Jesus Christ. Doubting Thomas is not a terrible thing. Doubt. For within doubting we become strong with the knowledge that we obtain and that we gain. And it is only through that knowledge that we're able to walk in the places like the state of Missouri and say, here it is, here's the facts, here's the beauty of life. And it's hard to find it in Missouri sometimes. But when you walk out there and they see that through your doubts, you have gained the knowledge and the power and the grace of the resurrection and the light of Jesus Christ, they will truly know what their calling is in life. Today I would say to you, fear not the doubting Thomas that may be in you, but celebrate the twin of his Spirit that is you. Amen.